Happy New Year and welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining me on this voyage. I'm excited for what's ahead and can't wait for you to hear the upcoming episodes. So let's jump right in. My guest this week is someone I've had the privilege of knowing for over 20 years. We met when she was a student at NYU and I was an apprentice at Bumble & Bumble, and I've been cutting her hair ever since. I still remember the day she came in for a trim and told me about her idea for a travel show. I knew immediately it was going to be something special. Fast forward to today, Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi is a 4-time Emmy Award-winning, nationally syndicated television series. The 30-minute travel show highlights traditional dance and music cultures from around the world. Mickela is both a professional dancer and a trained musician, and the series beautifully weaves together her two great passions, travel and dance. Her newest season shines a light on global voices, Indigenous communities, and the power of human connection. I truly believe dance is inherently Indigenous, which is why I love watching Mickela travel the world while uplifting our Indigenous relatives everywhere she goes. In Season 8, Mickela visits the Maori, where she's introduced to their New Year's celebration, Matariki. She also travels to Taiwan to meet with Indigenous tribal members. Did you know Taiwan has 16 federally recognized tribes? I didn't. This show is a total upper, and I highly recommend it if you're in need of a pick-me-up. Season 8 of Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi is airing now on PBS and available to stream on pbs.org and at travelbarefeet.com. Enjoy the show. Howay, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, Amy Farid, and I am thrilled to have my guest joining me today. She is the creator, host, executive producer of her Emmy Award-winning show, Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi. Relatives, help me welcome Mickela to the show.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I want to give a little backstory.
Yeah.
We have known each other for over 20 years.
Yes.
As a lot of you know, I am a hairstylist, and Mickela has been my client for over 20 years. We first met, you were a student at NYU.
I was a poor little student.
And I was a poor little student at BBU, at Bumble & Bumble University.
Yeah.
And you came in and that's how I learned to cut hair, by cutting your hair. And here we are today.
It's amazing. Yeah. I was a weird little hair model, which means when you're broke and you're like, I will take any haircut I get. And they were always amazing and fabulous.
Well, yeah. The great thing about Bumble is like, and you were open to it because like all students, you're just like, okay, fuck it. Hair grows back.
Yeah. And I have no money, so have fun with it.
You're at the mercy of Raymond McLaren and Howard McLaren. And when they decided to just chop your hair off, the cowlick haircut came from you.
Okay, can we give one little fun story and then we'll get into whatever we have to get into. But my favorite memory with you from like the very beginning was you did this fabulous shortcut. I had a cowlick, everything like short. Everybody loved it. And then who was the Scottish brother?
Howard and Raymond.
Yes.
They were Scottish brothers.
Yeah. He came over and it was like a scene from a movie where all of a sudden all the other stylists and students were like, oh my God, it was silence. And he came over to my head and did like a little zhuzh and a little snip. And everyone was like raptured by him. And he was like, fall men's haircut right here. And I was like, oh my God. And you're like, don't worry, sweet. Don't worry. It's fine. But everyone was like, around my head,
literally.
Like 50, yeah. And I was like, well, I'm in New York. This is it. And it was the best haircut. Loved it. But it was so funny because he's like men's fall, whatever year it was.
Totally.
Like a scene from a movie.
Literally from a movie, like Devil Wears Prada for hair.
Yes.
We were there. You were there.
Yeah. It was me. Men's fall, probably like 2006.
Yeah. You got the look that you got the haircut. Because back in those days, for a runway, you could actually do cuts. Models, you would just cut their hair no matter what. It didn't matter. Their agents were like, it was just a different time in fashion. But
So we have a history, girl.
So we have a history. And I remember the day you told me about your show, Bare Feet. Literally,
goosebumps, by the way.
I remember it like it was yesterday because I think, was I pregnant? Was it 2010?
Yeah.
So I was pregnant. So I was probably highly elevated and connected. But I remember the day, the side of the salon we were on. Yeah. And I remember thinking, oh, this has not been done. This is genius. And you were so excited. You always have this beautiful, excitable energy.
Thank you.
And that's my memory of you, of the show. What is your origin story? What was your aha moment with the Bare Feet?
Yeah.
With your show?
I love that you say how you remember that moment. I have a lot of friends that, because the show's come a long way. And when I get introduced to other friends of friends, they're like, I remember when she told me we were on the roof of my apartment, or like all these weird moments where it's beautiful that close people in my life, it stuck with them because it was something that had never been done. It was such a strange idea. Everyone kind of in the back of their mind was like, oh, Mickela's doing something crazy again. But my origin story is I worked in the music industry for a while. I went to school for music. Then quit cold turkey, and I wasn't dancing for a while. I had been dancing for a long time in my life and playing music. And found dance again in my life and was traveling, but teaching dance and all these wonderful things. But every place I went to where I couldn't speak the local language, I would use dance. So there were festivals or holidays or celebrations or like a powwow,
Didn't you teach the Bollywood dancing?
Yes, Masala Bhangra.
Yes, which was such a whole moment at that time.
Yes. And shout out to Serena Jane. She brought dance back into my life. She's celebrating 25 years this year. It's amazing. She's still rocking it out. But dance is and was, I rediscovered dance in this joyful, beautiful way of connecting with people. And was working at the time I was a full-time dance teacher. I was like doing odds and ends jobs. This was before Obamacare, so I had no health care. I was like,
what a
injured.
time.
Yeah, injured, like all these things, and just like living life in New York. And I was sleeping. It was like middle of January 2010. Woke myself up in the middle of the night, literally was like shot up and saw a vision. It was like a projection from my eyeballs onto the wall in front of me. I'll never forget it. I lived on First Avenue and I saw Bare Feet. I saw like the show. I saw me dressing up in regalia and costumes and outfits and dancing with people and connecting with people. I saw the crew. I saw our ads on the subway. I saw everything. And I was like, oh my God. And I always have a notepad next to my bed, always. And just started scribbling in the dark because at the time, my boyfriend at the time was sleeping next to me. So I wasn't going to like turn on all the lights, scribbling, and then went back to bed. Woke up and forgot about it until I turned around, like just forgot that I had this insane vision and looked at my table and there's like chicken scratch. And it was like, what did I write? And it was like, dance, travel, TV show. And I was like, I'm going to make a TV show.
Did it all come back to you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I can still see it. And I was like, I'm going to do that. And I told my boyfriend at the time, I was like, I'm going to make a TV show where I travel and dance around the world. And he's like, good. What? Okay, good luck. Like no production background, no TV background, nothing. And what I love about you remembering that like energy, I am proud of that girl. I was 28. I had that ambition. I had that energy. I had this sense of wonder. Not that I'm losing that sense of wonder, but to build something. Like I didn't know from nothing. I didn't know better. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God.
with what you know now.
I don't think I would have gone. No.
That's, you know what? And that is such a beautiful sentiment because it's kind of like you have to go in blindly because if you think about all the things that you know now, it would just pile up and you'd be like, actually.
Yeah. Let me just get a real job where I can get paid and I can have
health insurance because we live in America.
Yeah. But like typical things. But I used to use steno pads.
Yeah.
And then I transferred over to Moleskine. P.S. Moleskine, I'd love for you to sponsor me and sponsor us. Yes.
Love Moleskine.
Love Moleskine.
Iconic.
Amazing. And so I have piles and piles because I love to keep there. And I also have journals too, or like personal journals. But all of my Bare Feet stuff, I save everything because I have so many ideas. And recently I found a box of them and I looked through them and the process. I was able to see in real time, like the process of where my brain went. And I was like, girl, yes. Oh my God, that was a great idea. Oh my God. And again, this goes back to not knowing any better. I wasn't trained in journalism. I wasn't trained in TV production. So I was breaking all the rules. First rule in journalism is like, you're not supposed to show emotion. You're not supposed to get connected to the person you're interviewing. Like, I cry all the time.
Sister.
Oh my God.
Same.
Cry all the time. My family has like a drinking game. They're like, when Mickela cries, we drink. Like, that's how ridiculous it is. But and that's just who I am as a person. Again, I wasn't trained to present. I was wanting to document these authentic experiences that I was having. Because it wasn't all about the dance. The dance was fun and joyful, and I made this connection. But then it was like, come to my mother's home. She's cooking lunch. Or we were dancing salsa with Serena. We were filming a Bollywood workout video in Mumbai. And we were salsa dancing with all these people, this group of people in Mumbai. And they were like, come to our brother's wedding tomorrow. It was like a whole Bollywood wedding. Dance is this magical key that kept opening every door for me. And that's how Bare Feet, the impetus of Bare Feet came. The thought, the idea, the actual show has been a 15-year process of following a passion, never giving up on the mission of the show. Like, no matter what has happened, we have never wavered. And I say we almost in the royal sense. Now I actually have a team, but for a long time I would say we, and it was just me like wearing a million different hats of we will always show stories of connection through dance and joy. Like, always. That's the mission of the show. When COVID hit, we were doing our Bare Feet lives. I had so many friends, and not to shit on anybody, but I had so many friends who were travel influencers, and a lot of their content was about like best spas, best hotels, best deals. We couldn't travel. So all of a sudden they're showing cooking videos or walking their dog. Do you remember? Like, people were just trying to stay relevant. And I was like, wait a minute. I talk about stories of connection through dance and music around the world. We were supposed to have started filming another season. February, we were like in contact with sponsors. Obviously, the world shut down. And I was like, I have so many people that we were supposed to film with. We've already filmed with all these friends. And then all those live, like Facebook lives and Instagram lives started evolving. I was like, why don't I do these lives where I interview someone from around the world and then they teach us a dance. They're teaching me dance, but I want people on the other side to join in. And we did a Bare Feet live every day, every week for an entire year. Never missed a week. Maybe it was like Christmas I missed one. 52 weeks. Never repeated a style of music or dance. We were learning line dance in New Orleans.
Amazing.
We were learning samba in Rio de Janeiro. We were learning Irish Sean-Nós dance in Killarney. It was like, yep, we kept going. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that there's never been a time where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make content to make content. This is the only thing I know how to do at this point. That's all I know how to do.
And you're doing an amazing job. Your show is so impactful.
Thank you.
I remember going to one of your parties for, I forget which season.
We throw a good party, by
You
the
throw
way.
a great party. And you usually have whatever season you're on, whoever you're featuring, if they're local or you fly them in. But there was one party where you had a teacher that was there.
Yes.
And she was talking about the COVID.
Millie.
Oh my God. And about the kids, and like your show helped them like reconnect with themselves, with each other through your show. So you, I mean, and also those parties are amazing because I'm low-key a celebrity at them, because when people ask me,
because my hair is so fabulous,
they literally like, I'm like, yeah, I'm the hairstylist. They're like, oh my God, her hair is so good. I'm like,
it's amazing. It's amazing. No, but going back to Millie, so when COVID hit, going back to COVID, a week after the world shut down, the head of the New York City public school system's dance program called me. She's like, Mickela, we need your help. We have all these, because the New York City public school system has dance programs in the school, which is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. And she was like, we don't know what to do. Kids are home. How are we supposed to, we need something to help the teachers. I was like, at that point we had seasons 1 through 3, which was still 35 episodes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of content. And I was like, all of our shows are free on the PBS app. There's no barrier to entry for your students. All they need is internet, which they obviously will have because they're doing virtual classes. You don't have to sign up for Netflix or anything. It's all free. And I sent a whole email with everything in it, synopsis. She's like, we're sending this to all our teachers. And they did. And Millie was one of the teachers who received it. And I got the most beautiful message on Instagram. It was like 3 pages long where she's telling me, because we've done New York seasons too, right? Featuring cultural neighborhoods within the 5 boroughs of New York. Because that's what New York is. It's
I love that.
Incredibly diverse. Yeah, they're my favorite to do, honestly. They're beautiful. And she was saying, and I was in tears reading this DM from her. And she was like, we love your show. We've been using it during COVID. And what's amazing, because then we were putting out a 2-part special during COVID for Guadalupe Islands, because we had luckily shot before. And it was after the murder of George Floyd, and there was all this anti-Asian hate movement, and Black Lives Matter was building. I was like, we need to show. That was the start of when Bare Feet really started to dig deeper of like, let's ask the hard questions. Because when we were in Guadalupe, I almost was going to shy away from it, but there are these like incredibly powerful stories of being Black.
Yeah.
They're French, but they're Black.
Yeah.
And that like how Creole had became a language that was back in the schools and an official language of Guadalupe. Just so many things that if we had done one episode, we probably would have shied away from a lot of that conversation. And then COVID hit and I was like, we're leaning into that. This is what Bare Feet's about. That's when I really
found. And the world was ready at that moment.
The world was ready. Too. That was the other thing. The world was ready. And it really shifted how we told stories. But Millie said, she's like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Oh my God. She said, what's amazing is our kids see themselves represented in your show.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, we're doing something so important. Like every time. So Millie Carabella, she's like, has been an angel. So I reached out to her. I said, I want to meet these kids. She's like, I didn't think you were going to respond. So I did a virtual meeting with the kids twice because they had so many questions to ask me. And then I told her on the side, I was like, when the world opens up again, I want to film with them. I want to meet them. And we did. We did this little video with them and she was able to share her experience of using Bare Feet. And then we had her at the party and we played that. And that's what Bare Feet means to me now. It started as like, I want to travel around the world and wear as many amazing costumes and learn as many dances as possible. And it's going to be fabulous. And along the way, it is so much bigger than that like, it's a privilege for me to be able to have a dream job, literally. I literally dreamt about it and then it worked out. But B, like the honor and privilege for people to welcome me into their communities with open arms, which they don't have to.
Yeah.
And then our audience is welcoming me into their homes, into this very private setting. And we have a lot of families that watch together. It's beautiful. And I don't know a lot of shows that have that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And for free.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah.
It is nationally syndicated on PBS.
We're on PBS.
And you can watch on YouTube.
We can watch on YouTube. Our newest seasons are not on YouTube yet, but they're on the PBS app. So if you just go to pbs.org, look up Bare Feet, or go to our website, travelbarefeet.com, all the episodes are up there for free.
Yeah.
Or you can check us out on the Go Traveler app. We're on Amazon Prime, but don't pay for it.
Yeah, don't pay for it.
I don't make money from it anyway. Like, don't give money to Bezos.
No, he doesn't need
PBS. Support PBS. Yeah.
Support public. I mean, we don't know if it's going to continue with this current administration.
Right.
And your show, I've said this, it was so impactful. It's this cultural, informative show with dance, but you're also eating.
Mm-hmm.
Do people give you the Anthony Bourdain-esque? Do you like that?
When they say,
it's kind of like an Anthony Bourdain, but dance. But because you are eating, and I think yours is a little bit more sensitive in the style. It's not just, drinking and eating.
No, and look, I am honored when anyone mentions me and Bourdain in the same sentence. He was an icon.
Yeah.
And I'm also honored because people strive and want to emulate him all the time, but don't know what it was about Bourdain that made him so amazing. So I'm executive producer, right? So I am the boss. I have learned how to make an incredibly, really good TV show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's taken 15 years, but I figured it out. And I have a lot of people who either want to be hosts or create their own show. Literally, they'll say to me, I have an idea for a show. It's like Bourdain meets cats or Bourdain meets flowers. And so I say to them, I was like, number one, don't use Anthony Bourdain's name when you're pitching.
Yeah.
And number two, what does that even mean? Are you going around the world and getting drunk and eating with your cat? Or what you're actually trying to say is what really Bourdain did to touch people was he was no bullshit. And I feel like when people compare me to him, they know I'm no bullshit, but I'm not a curmudgeon-y, cantankerous,
You're the
former
opposite.
heroin addict, he's an incredible writer.
Amazing.
If you really do a deep dive into his shows, it's a lot of voiceover because if you ever watch Roadrunner, the documentary about him, he really didn't like being on camera.
Yeah.
He felt very uncomfortable. He loved the cinematic playing and sort of quoting other films when he was like Vietnam. He was quoting, what's that film about? Oh my God, I'm blanking.
About the war?
Yeah.
Not Platoon. The other one.
Well, the one with this fan spinning.
Yes,
and
the iconic.
Why am I
Oh my
Amira, do you know
God.
the name of the film that we're thinking about? He's maybe too young.
Not, oh my God. Francis Ford Coppola.
Yes.
What's the name?
Francis Ford
Coppola is the director.
Vietnamese War.
It's a Vietnam War. We're
movie.
like,
Not Platoon. Wait,
it's not Platoon.
it's not Platoon. It's gonna kill me.
It's going to kill me. But About
Yes, God, Amir,
He's
come
like-
on.
Yeah, that's because
he would
yeah,
quote
he's
it,
very
and
into
he's
that.
very into but what people wanted to emulate and want to emulate is that connection that he immediately made with
Exactly.
people, that authenticity, that no bullshit. He did not give a fuck about advertisers, and that's why he left Travel Channel, went to see, like, he did his own thing. So for me, when people say, oh my gosh, you're like Bourdain, except with dance, I find it as a huge compliment because they're like, she's no bullshit.
Yeah.
She's really connecting with people. People feel connected like they know her. I mean, I saw Bourdain a few times in real life and people flocked to him. They just wanted to talk to him because they felt like they knew him, like they
Yeah.
were his friend. So
Which is kind of
the same thing
with you.
Yeah.
That happens.
People come up to me and they're like crying because they're like, you got me through COVID, or I had cancer, and like crazy stories where they just feel like they know me.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I am very honored that that happens. If anyone listening, if you want to make your own travel show or your own travel YouTube channel or whatever you're doing, don't ever use Bourdain's name in your pitch, or don't ever use Bourdain's name in your description. I never say I'm like the Bourdain of dance.
You never.
I would never. Also, because it means you don't know what stories you're trying to tell yet. So figure out, and I have to be honest, when I started Bare Feet, I'm just going to travel and dance around the world. The show has evolved significantly. I cannot stay doing the same thing for 15 years. That would be an embarrassment to not evolve, right? Just like as a
course.
hairstylist, you're like constantly getting creative and evolving, but the mission has always been the same. So for anyone out there who wants to create something, anything, you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to evolve. Right now, the TV industry is imploding as we speak. Public
Yeah.
television has lost funding. There's these mergers. God knows where it's going to be in the next few months, year, where, Netflix is trying to buy Warner Brothers, then Paramount is trying to buy Warner Brothers. And yesterday, or just recently, the Oscars were announced that they're going to now be on YouTube, no more ABC. So the landscape is changing drastically. People are consuming content completely differently.
Yeah.
I'm in a place, I'll be very honest, our new season's out now, which we're very excited.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about it.
But I like telling those type of stories. It may be me being stubborn, but I want to, how do I say this? Prime example, my best friend has 3 young boys, and they started watching the last season together. And she sent me a little video of them watching. They were enthralled. And it's PBS. It's slower. It's not flashy. Like, we really dig into the stories. And she was like, boys, what do you say to Mickela? And they're like, shh, we're watching. And it was, they're like 5, 8, and 10 years old.
Yeah. It's captivating.
But
you are captivating.
No, but we need to tell stories that aren't just 11 seconds long or 20 seconds long or 6 seconds long. Like, let people sit in it and not be distracted and not. So I want to be part of the solution.
Yes.
And not part of the problem, which may push me out. But at the same time, I know people are hungry for that.
People are hungry for that. It will never be pushed out because we are always, as humans, we need that human connection. We strive for it. We want the
storytelling.
human
It's the
connection.
oldest.
And
sitting around a fire, having a powwow. Like, that is one of the oldest forms of sharing oral history, tradition, culture, heritage, family, you know, like identity. And that's what I found through our show is that's what it's all about.
I think it's season, is it not 5? What is the
DNA? It's
oh
season
my
3.
gosh. You did your DNA testing and you went to all these countries that have your DNA. And I'm a crier too. You're a crier and I love. But when you're in Morocco.
Oh my God, girl.
I mean, just everywhere in Sevilla and like those connections are so helpful for people to see that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be vulnerable. And sometimes when you hear drums and music, it is so overwhelming in the most beautiful way. You're not crying. A lot of people, because as a society, we're not allowed to cry, but it's not because you're crying out of sadness.
Or sympathy or, it's
anything.
Not,
You know, it's this beautiful, overwhelming emotion of humans, the drum, the beat, the singing. Like you're connecting on a whole other level with people. And I think that's why your fans love you so much because you are vulnerable. And so many times in the TikTok world, we try to be just this perfect little snippet. You know, I have a 15-year-old, so I see it and I'm like, oh, girl, like, and she's getting it. She's getting the, like, you know, you don't have to just do that. It's great to be real.
But it's hard to compete with that because everybody is perfect online.
Yeah.
They look perfect. I mean, there's filters. There's like things that are done to actually make you look perfect.
Yes.
It's not real.
It's not real. That also reminds me of the episode, the New York
I love
whole season. I love because in New York, we literally have the world here. And you're like, literally, you could take your Metro card and go to another country in New York. But I love when you did the ballroom voguing scene. And
Cesar Valentino,
you know, voguing and ballroom is all about decolonizing dance. And there's the moment where he's telling you, you're serving face for the gods. And you're like, he's comparing us to Diana Ross. And you're like, but she's beautiful. And he's like, no, but you're beautiful. And that is something as a survival, as brown and black kids, not seeing ourselves represented in this European idea of beauty or this patriarchal idea of how a woman and a man should be. It was beautiful to see you, like, him kind of help school you along. No, bitch, you have to be.
Yeah.
Because we've been told our whole life we are ugly, even by our family, by this, you're fat, you're this. But bitch, once you go to the ball, you're that girl.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love that episode. Because it's like, oh, and also that's also the episode you go to the
with
Thunderbird
Louis, that
with
episode,
Louis.
With Louis.
The icon, who is also an icon and a legend.
Yes. That episode is called Empower NYC.
Yeah.
And we hit a lot of, and again, goosebumps.
God, that episode.
It's one of my favorites. I'll be very honest. That scene, that segment with Caesar was probably one of the hardest segments we've ever filmed because the ones where I have to be the most vulnerable personally, like to say, I feel beautiful and I feel sexy. I don't feel comfortable saying that. I don't believe it a lot of times. I also feel like, well, my superpower is I'm approachable and likable and I'm not this like model-esque. So that's why people gravitate towards me because I'm not threatening or I'm not, I'm very, it's like, I'm like that friend next door. And I almost didn't allow myself because I'm like, well, it works for me and that's why. And I've been told you have this big nose and my face is asymmetrical and a lot of things, like things you tell yourself, but things that other people tell you too. And so
But those things also make you so gorgeous.
Right, exactly. Like you
like
need,
your nose is amazing.
I mean, my nose. Do you know how this sounds really weird? I wanted, when I was younger, I always wanted a nose job. I was like, because it was, even my family would make fun of me for it. And bless them. Bless them. I love them.
It'd be your family. It'd be your own family.
They got to keep you humble. They got to keep you humble, right? But like, when I tell you, I'm lucky that I don't get a lot of crazy weird messages from fans, but I get the most compliments on my nose. And I'm like, that is the strangest thing, because I hated my nose. I hated my nose for so long of my life that now I'm like, that's what makes me me.
Yes.
That's what makes me who I am. That's why my voice sounds the way it does. I wouldn't be who I was if I had a different nose. And that's the weirdest thing to say, but it's true.
It's so freaking true.
So back to Empower NYC. Cesar Valentino.
Icon legend from the House of Ninja.
Yes. And he teaches at Broadway Dance Center, and he teaches all over the city. And it was an amazing class. And even what I love, this is what you don't get to see, is our crew behind the scenes. Sometimes I want them to try the dances too, but they feel transformative because they're in this space experiencing this as well. I also love them so much, and they're my family, that I feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable with them as well, right? Like if I was working with someone I didn't feel comfortable with the person behind the camera, I wouldn't. There's this synergy that we have. So they've had all these transformative experiences too, which is really cool. But we started with the Pacemakers, which is like a 65 plus dance crew. They're based in Brooklyn. So that episode was about like anti-ageism, very LGBTQ positive, obviously, with voguing. We did it was the 20th anniversary at the time of 9/11. And I rehearsed with Jacqueline Boulisi, her dance company that does the Table of Silence in Lincoln Center every year. And that was very hard, hard, because these kids, a lot of these kids that were dancing, and I say kids, they were in their early 20s as dancers with Ailey and other companies. They were the same age I was when 9/11 happened. Right. And being here in New York. And so there was this, and then we went to the powwow at Queens County Farm Museum and met with Lewis. And it was this amazing powwow and doing the friendship dance and meeting fans that season, because COVID had hit. So no one had been filming, and we usually film internationally. We're in New York, and even my crew, we were all like, holy shit. Everywhere we went, they're like, you're Mickela, you're the dancer. Oh my God. Everywhere we went.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, this is, it had never been like that. It was post-COVID where we realized, oh my gosh, a lot of people watch the show. A lot of people feel connected to the show. And it was a really magical, I mean, it happens every day, and I never take it for granted, ever.
It happens every day. Like, you get noticed.
I get stopped on the street, and not just in New York, like everywhere I go. Especially airports, because it's people who are interested in travel. But we were filming in the last season 7 in Louisiana. I didn't realize how big of a fan base we have in Louisiana. LPB, shout out to Louisiana PBS. They air us a lot. We're filming, and people were coming up to us like, oh my God, I love your show. This is amazing. I had one girl, she was 14. She starts crying. She's like, I never thought I'd ever meet you. And I was like, what is going on? This is amazing. Yes. It was beautiful. But so I think what a lot of people don't realize is I'm not just the talent in front of the camera. Most of my job is not that. Most of my job is fundraising and pre-production and research and all these things. So when we are filming, that's part of my job, and I'm having fun, but I still am thinking about who I have to reach out to, who we have to connect with. So when fans come up to me, it reminds me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on TV. I forget. It's the weirdest thing, but I forget because that's not my main job.
Yeah. You're an executive producer. So being a producer.
Everything.
You're doing it all.
Everything.
And I was asking a director that was in here recently about, how much of it is the clerical work, the reaching out, the emailing, trying to get funding, and that's its own superpower in itself. You just have to have all these strengths, which you do. And that's why you've created the show.
And I think what people need to understand is if that's not your strongest point, you figure out how to do it. My mantra for the for a long time is
That's what I'm doing.
figure it out. Figure it out.
The fuck out.
Figure it out. You don't have the funding? Figure it out.
It's true.
You don't know how to... You need to find a camera person. You need to find when I started Bare Feet, I was doing barter. I was bartering with friends. I was like, hey, I got like our Guadalupe Islands. Perfect example. Guadalupe Islands. I was starting as like a blogger, and I was writing stories and all these things about travel and dance. And I obviously lived in New York. So I would every night. Okay, this is the real story. And I've talked about this before, but I'll try and truncate it. Had that dream back in 2010, pitched. I was talking to my friends who worked in the entertainment industry, and they're like, let me introduce you to producers and networks, and which was amazing. Always an older white male.
Yep.
Always saying, interesting idea, because no one had ever done it before, so no one's going to take a chance. Interesting idea, Mickela, but you definitely won't be the host. You don't look like you don't look like a travel host. You don't sound like a travel host. And I kept hitting that. And then they were like, if you're lucky, you'll be able to sell the idea, get some money, and then they'll probably shelve it and hire an actress or hire a model, shelve it.
Yeah. Wow.
For months. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I know I'm the person to do this. I don't know how I knew. And I'm really grateful to that person who stuck with it and like believed. Imagine everyone's telling you you're the wrong person.
Like
and
literally.
which I was actually like, I had no experience being on camera. I had no experience doing any of this stuff. So I was like, fuck this. I come from a family of immigrants. My grandmother was still living in Italy. And I was like, I know the language enough at the time. There's this big wheat harvest festival that happens every year. They have this dance group. I'm going to hire my friends who were all in film school. We're going to stay at my grandmother's little farmhouse. She would cook for us every day. Imagine me trying to explain to my Italian grandmother this idea of like, I'm going to make a TV show where we're traveling and dancing. She was like, Mickela, I'll help you. You met my nonna.
Love.
Nonna Pina is the best. She's 95. She is amazing. She's my biggest fan, but she's my biggest critic. Like, what are you doing, Mickela? When are you going to get a real job? She's still asking, even though we're on TV all the time.
Love.
But so we filmed the pilot, came back, put together a sizzle reel. And again, even the groups we were trying to convince, like now people know the show. They're usually fans of the show when we work with them. Or I could give them other episodes and be like, this is what we're going to do. There was nothing to show anybody, not even other shows, to be like, we're going to do something like this. It was a brand new idea. So came back, put together a sizzle reel, was pitching to third-party production companies. This still works the same way, where you basically, networks don't make shows in-house. They work with third-party production companies. Those companies will shoot a pilot or work on a project, pitch it to them, and sell it to the networks. And then they'll pay to make the rest of the season. So I was like, okay, I invested my life savings into making this pilot, found a third-party production company called No Regrets Entertainment, which I should have known better by the name. We move on. Hey, it's all a learning. It's all a learning process.
No regrets. So you had regrets,
girl. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason, because
you learned something. I'm sure.
I learned a lot. So I signed an exclusive shopping agreement. That means they have the exclusive rights to shop it to networks. At the time, Travel Channel was still airing travel content, not just mystery, ghost hunters, whatever. I wanted to be on Travel Channel. Yeah, this was a whole other time.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So what did I do? I signed a year's exclusive shopping agreement. Should have been 3 months, 90 days max. Didn't know better. 2 weeks in, I hand over all my footage. There was no monies exchanged, just an agreement signed, hand over my hard drives, everything. They're going to put together a sizzle. We have a great relationship with Travel Channel. This will be great. 2 weeks later, we find out. 2 weeks later, Travel Channel signed an identical show called Dance Around the World with a gorgeous former ballroom dance competition dancer. And I was like, okay, well, it's not going to be on Travel Channel, so who are we going to pitch it to instead? And they're like, no, that's it. It was just Travel Channel. I was like, okay, well, can I have my footage back? They're like, you can either wait out your year's agreement or buy it back for $30,000.
Wow. The regret.
But not just the regret but it was like, Mickela then, and this is why I talk about her
Yeah.
as another person, because I don't know what was in her that was like, you know what? I'm going to wait out this agreement. I obviously was devastated because the network that I wanted to be on had the same show. And I spent all this time and money and energy into my project, and I couldn't even touch it for a year. I was like, I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to go out every single day and write about dance. That year taught me how to tell stories. Yes. I did research on how to find all these amazing stories around New York City. Once I got the footage back, I hired an editor. We did these like 5-minute videos to go on YouTube. We did a whole YouTube launch at the Casa Italiana because it was all the time. I learned how to A, tell good stories, and then B, like build momentum and events around nothing.
Yes.
We started a YouTube channel in 20.
And there you go.
Yeah. And
that's like the kind of not the beginning of YouTube, but that was like people weren't having shows on YouTube. People have full on shows now.
Yeah. And like, I've done everything. I snuck into a PBS conference. That's how I met the head of programming here in the New York station. They started airing my show for free. I didn't have any money. And I was like, okay, if I can get a press trip to a destination and I can have the destination host me, fly me out for free, if they get me another ticket, I can bring my friend who's a videographer and I'll be like, hey, we have a free trip to South Korea. I can't pay you, but we're going to be in South Korea. She's like, great. That's how I made the show.
Love.
That's how I made the show. For the first season, that it was just bartering.
Wow.
It's insane. It's
Mickela.
exhausting when I talk about it. Because I'm like, how did she do that? Yeah. It doesn't feel like that's the same person.
You are the same person. Mickela, your trajectory has soared to outer space and back. You're here and you're just going to keep growing. People that you feature on your show, when they're explaining dance to you, it's really rooted in indigeneity. And one that comes out, the Morocco episode, like I said, is like, I really love that. And is that the one where the ladies are kind of teaching you belly dance?
Well, there's one in Cyprus where the women are teaching
the Cyprus one. That's right.
Where it's like
that
the
was female
also
your DNA.
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous episode as well. But the women, and you come out and you're like, I'm not used to wearing this much clothing or
this little clothing.
This little clothing. And body is tea, by the way.
Thank
gorgeous.
You.
And I love the woman's like, you should get used to not wearing this many clothes because you look great.
Yeah.
And they're teaching you and, they're kind of explaining how everything kind of starts as a circle. And the circle is so important for so many reasons. Mm-hmm. Mother Earth, the Earth, our planets, in my tribe, we dance in counterclockwise circle. That is the way the Earth rotates around the sun. Mm-hmm. So all of those things are rooted in, in indigenous beliefs, So your show is very indigenous, and you're going and speaking with indigenous people and learning their dances all over the world, which is so eye-opening because I don't think people realize that there are indigenous people from, or I mean, I guess in Morocco people kind of know.
Well, the Amazigh people are the indigenous people of Northern Africa and Morocco.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the people that when I'm crying again for the third time when they're playing those drums and singing to me, they're the indigenous people of Morocco. Taiwan, 16 federally recognized indigenous tribes plus more, obviously, that aren't federally recognized yet.
Can we call it an indigenous season?
Well, almost all of them. We go to Cuba, and that's obviously they have Taino and Siboney and Guanahatabey people's roots, but it has a huge, we talk about obviously the Black culture there, the Chinese history that was almost a lost history.
Right.
Havana had the second largest Chinatown in the world until like the 60s, which is insane.
Yes.
It's insane. Nobody talks about it. And it's like a lost history in Havana and in Cuba, and they're just like rediscovering that. So a majority of our stories that we tell in the new season are indigenous. But like you said, I never always thought about it that way, but there are so many, the indigeneity, I love that word, of our stories.
They're really rooted.
Yeah, it really is rooted in that. And
the drum is so indigenous.
Yeah.
It's made out of skins, wood, and
But just a connection to the earth.
Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite episodes we ever did was the powwow in Lumberton, North Carolina.
Yes, the Lumbee
tribe. And the women aren't allowed to touch the drum, but they're in support in that circle around the men singing and drumming. And that was always so powerful to me because I think for a long time, when someone says to a woman, you can't do this, I immediately would react. But when I heard that and they said, women are too powerful, there's too much energy.
Yeah.
That if they touch the drum, it would be dangerous. It's there's just so much power in them. I'm like, holy shit, that's another way of thinking.
Yeah.
And they're there to support this energy of circle that is for the community. And I'm like, that's really beautiful because a lot of times we are told we can't do something.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it put things into
But it's we're told because we're not enough of something. And
right.
this is the opposite. We're actually too powerful because we are so connected to the earth, right? And that drum beat, that is our mom's heart. That's your first.
Yes, it's your first.
That's what you hear when you're inside.
Yeah.
And that drum is so important to hear because that centers us back to our mother.
Yeah.
Inside in the ground, Mother Earth. So I love your show because it's all indigeneity.
It is. And this season in particular, we were brought into one of the Maori iwis, one of the tribes, Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei. I have to
an amazing
two-part because we were there to celebrate Matariki, which is the Maori New Year, and it's a newish, just in the past few years, became a federal holiday. Yes. Not like Indigenous Peoples Day. It's an actual Maori holiday that is nationally recognized. Matariki. It's the first. In the world, I think it's one of the first.
Yeah, having an Indigenous holiday where you have it off.
The whole country has it off.
That's amazing.
And also, you go around the city. We were in Auckland the whole time, and it's Matariki everywhere. It's almost like Christmas. You see Matariki signs, and so it's amazing. And I can only imagine it could be so empowering to see your own culture being represented in that way. New Zealand, Aotearoa, I have to say, is in the forefront. There's a lot of work to be done around the world for Indigenous communities to have the right space that they should be afforded, right?
Yeah.
Aotearoa, New Zealand, is at the forefront of what that means. Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei, which is the tribe, the iwi that we worked with, our kaitiaki, our guardian, Dane Tumahai. I met him at an event here in New York. We knew we were thinking of coming to New Zealand to work. When I tell you what we met, it was like past lives shit.
Oh.
And we both had this really strong connection. And I said, I'm sorry, Dane, but we need to work with you. When I come to Aotearoa, there's no one else I want to be with except you. And it wasn't a inappropriate way. There was just something where we were drawn to each other, and we became family. We became whānau. And the 2 episodes, one we did of not typical, but Maori culture, general Maori culture, and Matariki, and then things that are around Matariki. And again,
so what is there a specific date?
Yeah, so Matariki is based, and it's in technically our summer. It's their winter, so it's because it's on the other side of the hemisphere. It's in June, July, and it's based on the constellation Pleiades. Yes. So it's the rising of the Pleiades stars, and it's at the brightest point. So it's never the same day every year, but it's this beautiful celebration of looking back into the past, being present and grateful for what's now, and then looking into the future of what is to come. And another powerful part of Matariki is for all of those who have passed since the last rising of Matariki from the year before, you say the name of those who have died, who have passed, and you're releasing their spirit into the cosmos to join.
Yeah.
Right?
Back with the ancestors.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very somber yet beautiful celebration. And we were very lucky that we were there at that time. Unfortunately, Dane had lost his son in that year. So it was a really emotional time for everybody. And we're so grateful that he even let us in to his family during this time. You know, that's a hard thing to go through. But at the same time, like going back to, no one has to take us into their community.
Yeah.
Nobody does. It's not like we expect anything. And what was amazing about, and every time we work with Indigenous communities, we try and be as respectful. Look, I'm a white girl.
Yeah.
I'm a white girl who lives in New York City. I am not going to approach any community and say, hey, we're this big TV show and like this would be an honor for you and you should. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? But what is always really beautiful, and even our crew sees this too, is especially in Indigenous communities, the respect towards the ancestors of generations and generations and generations of people who have gotten you to this exact moment and point in life and point in the world. Like, we don't think about that a lot in
As
European
Indigenous
Western
people,
culture.
yeah.
No, in Western.
Yeah, like we think
No. And I want to be very clear. In Western European culture, in the United States, European-based culture, we don't talk about that, which we should.
Yeah.
We should even just acknowledge the fact that even the idea of like individualism of like, I came here by myself or I did this on my own. How many thousands of people have gotten you to this exact moment? So it's changed my perspective so much. It's also every Zoom meeting we had, because they're in Aotearoa, they're in New Zealand, they're like 13 hours ahead. And every Zoom meeting, there's like 11 people on it. They'd start with a karakia. A karakia is an incantation, a prayer of setting in Te Reo Māori in their language, and then they'd translate it. But it was like, the first time I remember getting on a Zoom and them doing a karakia, I was in tears. I was like, this is a business meeting and they're doing a karakia.
Yes.
How incredible is that? That also, the non-Maori are like, taekie. They say the amen at the end. You know, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. I want people to give a shit.
Decolonizing the Zoom meetings.
Yes. How amazing.
By paying respects to your ancestors, because that's how we kind of find hope to carry on, and I try to give that to Luna, to be like, your ancestors are with you, girl, my daughter, you're not alone on this journey. And that's that hope, and so, and your ancestors are helping you.
Well, that's
along the way too.
And honestly, I feel it now. Like, I think for a long time, I didn't listen to them. I didn't hear them. Even though I did, like, where did I go for our pilot? Where did I go when I started this whole dream? To the land of my ancestors. Both of my parents are from this tiny little town in southern Italy where we still have olive trees there. And I feel so rooted to that earth. Why on earth would I decide to go to that place deep, deep, deep down? And it's like all coming out now of, I do feel connected to them and I do want to stay connected to them. And I feel like I'm part of their legacy. Right?
Yes.
Like, my work, I don't have children.
Yeah.
Right? But my legacy is to keep that story alive. And I want to make them proud. And I want to make my parents proud. But I want to make my great, 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 great grandparents proud too,
Yes. And you are, and they are shining down.
I feel it.
On you.
I feel it.
Mickela, is there any place you haven't gone?
Yes.
That you want to go?
Yes.
Where?
Yes. Well, I have to say, Aotearoa was on the top of the list. Yeah. Like, there was an article in Newsweek during COVID, was like, where do you want to go? And it was literally, I want to learn the haka with the Maori. And I was like, we did it. And it was life-changing, and I want to go back. There's loads of places. I want to go to Peru. Peru has such a deep history.
Have you never been?
Never been.
Yeah, you got to go. I have been, and I've seen the dancing. Wow.
It's amazing.
Wow.
It's
Again,
amazing.
like, the indigenous roots there run so deep, and
it's such an old...
I can't wait for you to go to Peru.
You want to go to Peru. Japan, I would love to go, but there's a lot of indigenous communities in Japan too. So I haven't been to a lot of places. I travel a lot, but we've done a lot in New York, which I love.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sound like a snob, but I've been to 40 countries. There's a lot of people who are, and I'm air quoting here, travel influencers that are like 120 and 100, and they'll pop in and pop out. Like
Oh no.
And I go back. If I feel connected to a place, I go back over and over again, right?
Yeah, you go back. I know you love Ireland.
I love Ireland.
You have a really strong soul connection. I know this because I cut your hair, so I always get to, I know your deepest, darkest secret.
You were my therapist.
But yeah, so.
But also you're
not just taking for your content. You're not, it's not a purposeful thing to just come and do your thing and then leave. You really go back, which is very respectful.
Yeah, but also it's because I felt a connection. I made friends there. Dance and music in Ireland is such an integral part of the culture.
Also,
and talk about Indigenous, like the Irish. It is this powerful, deep connection, and that's another part of their. Every time I go back, I learn more and more about their beautiful culture, about the paganism. Like I was there for Halloween, for Samhain, and I felt like. You check any of my jackets, I have a rock from Ireland. I probably shouldn't say that. Maybe that's illegal. But I have one little stone from Ireland in every single pocket. I don't know why, but there's something about that land there that I feel really connected to.
I love it.
It's very spiritual there.
Okay, so yes, Peru, we're going to manifest that. You're going to Peru. You're going to Japan. Mm-hmm. This show is more than a labor of love. Mm-hmm. How can we support you? What's next for you, and where can we find you?
Yeah. So you can find us at travelbarefeet.com. The new season is out now.
Yes.
So please check out these 6 episodes. There are most beautiful episodes. I'm the proudest of these episodes ever. So if the way to support is just watch, share with your family, and support your local PBS station.
Yes.
That's, independent media is really important right now, and it's really scary what's happening in the media landscape. But I also decided I am not the only one who could have all these amazing experiences traveling and dancing. Our newest sponsor and partner with Bare Feet Season 8 is Intrepid Travel, and they're our newest partner with our Bare Feet tours, which we're bringing back. So you can now sign up and come with me to Ireland. It's obviously my favorite place in the world. And we're going to add more trips. So there's a Wild Atlantic Way tour that's coming up this fall. And then we're going to add flamenco in Spain, pizzica in Puglia. They're all trips based on our episodes. Tango in Buenos Aires. We want to do a Morocco trip. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. I want people to have these transformative experiences. They're small group tours, maximum 15 people. I will always be on the first trips so far. So obviously get on while you can.
Yes.
But yeah, if you go to travelbarefeet.com, you can find everything. All our episodes, all the fun behind the scenes.
I come travel with you.
Oh my God, it's so fun.
I can do your hair every day. And I can dance a little bit.
It's so fun.
God. Flamenco, you're flamenco. And I love it. You know what I love is how quick you pick up everything. I say this all the time, but I love seeing the people who are teaching you. They're like, she learned flamenco in 2 minutes. It's amazing.
I have fans come up to me, always say, do you go a day before in rehearsal? I was like, no. The fun part is when I'm like,
because you're brilliant. Mickela Mallozzi. And on Instagram, you are at Travel Bare Feet.
Yes.
Travel Bare Feet.
Yeah.
Follow, subscribe to our YouTube.
We have a monthly newsletter. You can find out all this stuff.
Exactly. And support your local PBS stations. Yes. Mickela, thank you so much for doing this.
I love you.
I love you. It's big love all the time. And that's a wrap.
Yeah, girl.
Thank you so much, relatives. See you next time.